Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the movie currently out in theaters called The Killer's Game. This is a fun little action movie starring Dave Bautista, Palm Clemente, and a couple of other notable names. But I, for the most part, enjoyed this movie. Let's talk about it.
Modern Movie Review.
Alrighty, so right off the bat, I am going to, as with the majority of my movie reviews, I'm going to issue a spoiler warning. I don't think that this is a movie that could be ruined via spoilers. Like, I do think that, for the most part, this movie is pretty predictable, and a lot of the things that you would expect to happen in this movie happen in this movie. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's a movie that can be ruined via spoilers, but in case you're planning on maybe watching it in the next couple of days, maybe go ahead and watch it and then watch this video after. But that being said, we're going to dive right into this, shall we? Alrighty, so I'm going to address the title of this video. I call this just another dumb action movie, and for the most part, I think that the action in this movie is actually really enjoyable. I think that the comedy, for the most part, works incredibly well. In fact, the editing and the style of this movie are fantastic. This movie is incredibly artistic and fun, and it literally starts off with like an interpretive dance number, and we're watching Dave Bautista behind the scenes where he's like following somebody into one of their like little booths where they're watching this dance or whatever, and there's definitely a lot of fun to be had. I feel like as far as the world building and everything goes, it is very lackluster. There's not a whole lot of interesting stuff in the plot department, but as far as just going to watch a movie where you're watching somebody just go around and murder a bunch of people, yeah, this is great for that. For the general plot of this movie, this is a character who is an assassin. The main character we follow is Dave Bautista. He's somebody who is a part of the Assassins, like, weird group of people that they have, and they go around, they try to kill people, they pride themselves on the fact that they only kill, like, criminals, and they just go around and they do hit jobs, and they basically have, like, a Tinder on their phone. This was one of the funniest parts of the movie to me. They have, like, a Tinder on their phone, but it's for, like, people they go kill. So they'll just, like, go see, oh, $2 million to kill this person? Let me go do it. And then whenever they kill the person, they literally just swipe on their phone that they killed the person. And I'm like, that's funny to me, and I thought that that was hilarious. And, overall, that's where this movie excels. Like, the comedy in this movie is really good. I think that there's a lot of, like, actual, like, spoken jokes in here that don't really land as well. But I feel like in the editing, there is so many just, like, incredible jokes. I feel like we're being introduced to so many new characters towards the end of this movie. There's kind of like a sequence where Dave Bautista is luring a bunch of people into a castle so he could just kill them all. But before he does that, they give us a little montage where we get to meet the people. And all of the people are just so over the top and cartoonishly bad. And they're just like people you would expect to be dumb henchmen in a video game where you just quickly kill them off. And it's so fun. I feel like if you're a fan of montages, you're going to absolutely love this movie, because there's a montage early on in the movie that kind of like goes through some of the like lovey-dovey stuff that happens with Dave Bautista's character. And then there's a montage towards the end of the film where, like I said, you're getting introduced to just all these like ragtag different like gangsters and groups of people who are, you know, these assassins, and like in it you get some fun action sequences. You definitely get a lot of like interesting different like dynamics going on. Like, there's two brothers who beat people up on their motorcycles, and like for the most part that's a lot of fun. Whenever we get the sequence with Dave Bautista fighting those two, it's pretty cool, and I think that they do some fun stuff there. I really like the set design for that specific one. They lure him into some like little warehouse, and there's so many different like layers and stuff like that, and it literally feels like a BMX like arena type thing, and they're just going at Dave Bautista, and it's fun. Like, there's so much just fun to be had with this movie, and I think that it's great. I think that there's a couple of other groups, like there's two killers that are like, I think they're called the Party Girls, and they like are strippers, but they're going around killing people, and they're like killing people with their heels and stuff like that, and it's just ridiculously fun. Like I said, it feels like they're cartoonishly over the top henchmen, and it's fantastic. Terry Crews shows up in this. He's absolutely hilarious. Ben Kingsley, he is not one of the hitmen. He's kind of the person who's like overseeing everything. He's absolutely hilarious. He steals the show every single time he is on the screen. He is the funniest person. He brings so much energy to this role. I just absolutely love him in everything, and in this particularly, he's fantastic. Palm Clemente, whenever she shows up, she's pretty funny. And just overall, a lot of just over the top characters doing really ridiculous stuff the entire movie, and I think that there's definitely fun in that, right? Like I said, the plot overall, if you're going to see this movie for the plot, first of all, why? Second of all, no, it's not really worth it. The basic overall premise, for anybody who's wondering and has not seen the movie and was going to just watch this and be like, oh, okay, I've basically seen the movie now. The overall plot Dave Bautista's character is somebody who's very experienced as a hitman. He's been doing this stuff for like 20 years. He lives in Budapest because he thinks that's like a good central location in the UK. And he goes around doing all these different hit jobs. He makes a bunch of money doing all of them. And he's really, really good at it. He's very respectful. A lot of people really appreciate the fact that he has never really made a mistake. He's always been very clean and very diligent with his job. He's very skilled at his craft, right? He's honed it in. And now, after all these like years or whatever, he's kind of thinking about maybe potentially retiring. Ben Kingsley's character is kind of telling him, maybe you should take a vacation, try to meet a nice, pretty girl. And that's exactly what happens. Dave Bautista ends up meeting a girl. It's the girl who was doing the interpretive dance at the beginning of the movie. They kind of like randomly turn the movie into a rom-com for like 30 minutes to build up their relationship real quickly. Like I said, there's a montage with that. And then throughout this, Dave Bautista's character is suffering really bad migraines, and he decides to get his head scanned. And because they mix up a couple of files, he gets told, hey, you have this really bad, disease. You're going to die in 3 months. And he's like, okay, well, if I'm going to die, I want to be killed by hitmen. And so he hires a hit on himself. And then right before everything goes down and everybody's allowed to actually come kill him, he finds out it wasn't his head scan. And now he's just having to deal with the consequences of the fact that he just hired a bunch of hitmen to come kill him. And it's entertaining. It's ridiculously over the top. It's incredibly stupid. I love how much they randomly stop this movie to just throw us into like a completely different movie. Because like I said, the love story in here, it's very underdeveloped, but at the same time, it's just one of those things where it's like, you just kind of like need to let go of expectations and just kind of like let the movie just take you through it. Because after one of the biggest set pieces and all the action pieces or whatever, Dave Bautista and the girl drive away or whatever, she gets injured, and he like carries her out of the car and brings her to a church. And while they're in the church and she wakes up or whatever, there's randomly just a priest who's sitting in there, and Dave Bautista was like, okay, you know what? We're going to get married. And before he's allowed to get married, they're like, you need to do a confession first. And it's so ridiculous. It's so funny. And we have like a 10-minute long sequence of like Dave Bautista just, giving all of his confessions, being like, well, I murdered this person, I murdered that person, then I went on to murder this person, and then I murdered this other guy, and then we did this, and then we did that other thing. And then the entire time the priest is like, I regret asking. Killing people is wrong. You shouldn't be killing people. And it's just a 10-minute detour just for those two characters to get married randomly out of the blue. And it's so ridiculous. It's so stupid. It's so funny. And overall, I had a good time with this movie. It's hard to not enjoy movies like this because it's just silly, goofy, ridiculous. It's great. The energy for the most part is fantastic. I don't think any of the acting performances are necessarily good. Like, for the most part, Pom Klementif, I could not really get on board with her character. Dave Bautista, I feel like, honestly, is not doing that much in this movie, which is crazy because he's the main character. His love interest, literally not memorable at all. In fact, you'll probably leave the movie and be like, oh, that's right, he was dating somebody. Terry Crews is fun, but he basically just plays Terry Crews. And yeah, for the most part, it's just a very straightforward movie. One of my favorite comedic bits in the entire movie, like I'd mentioned, a lot of the like written dialogue, like jokes don't work as well for me, but there's a lot of fun to be had with like some of the editing and stuff. There's the sequence where they're doing the montage and they're introducing all these different people. They introduce two Scottish brothers and a lot of the different like members of the like, hitman gang that they're dealing with are speaking other languages. So they have subtext at the bottom, and what's it called? Whenever they start speaking, they're speaking actual English, but there's captions for them, and some of the captions are changing some of their like Scottish like words to like regular English words, and it's just so funny because there's like a sequence where one of them like curses out the other one, and the captions are just saying like a lot nicer words, and it's just so funny. It's just like a really small little detail, but I noticed it. I thought it was funny. But yeah. Overall, I enjoyed this movie. I had a really good time with it. I don't think it's necessarily one of the best movies I've seen this year. It's probably one that I won't be revisiting. But for the one time through watching it, I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a solid 69 out of 100. There's a lot of like subplot issues with it. There's a couple of lines of dialogue that were really bad. One in particular that I had an issue with. The love interest and Dave Bautista, they have a moment about the halfway point where Dave Bautista is just like, I think I need a break. I need to go away for 3 weeks. I'm just going to like disappear or whatever. You're going to get a message. You're going to know what everything is about. You're going to understand why I'm doing this. And whenever that happens, this is just still during the point where Dave Bautista's character thinks he's dying. The girl responds, one day when you're on your... Why did I do my Donald Trump voice? Holy shit, that was really bad. But she basically goes, one day you're going to be on your deathbed and you're going to be thinking about me. And it's just... Where did that come from? That's just such a terrible line of dialogue that's so random, and it's just like, okay, so she knows he's dying, right? Like, that's basically what she just said is, hey, I know you're dying. Because, like, other than that, that makes no sense. And then another thing, because they montage through their love story, it's so hard to know how long they dated for, and they constantly are, like, being like, well, he was the best boyfriend I ever had. And it's just like, how long have you known him? Because I don't think he was. But yeah, that being said... that was it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming by and checking it out. I love and appreciate you guys so much for watching. And if you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe. And I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bow.